from you all. I'm going to blame him because he has me working hard. But he is a young entrepreneur, 25 years old. Okay, let that sink in. Let that sink in. 25 years old, and he's started a international company. So he's flying all over the world. He has people flying all over the world, to bring this project that he's working on into fruition. And I had the pleasure in working on the website and actually building the website. And it's the only website of its kind in Canada. Okay? And what he's doing now, I don't know if a lot of you, because I know a lot of entrepreneurs like, oh man, school, I don't like school, but we all know someone that is in school. You probably went to school. You probably went for, took business management or what have you. And if you could remember filling out your application, some of you probably filled your application out by hand, like actually filled out a piece of paper. Others have went onto a website and filled out an application and realized that it was just not really easy to use, and these websites are really hard to use. And then you're just applying to just one website. You're not applying to multiple. The other issue is that you have to pay to apply at some of these schools. You have to pay an admin fee, and so that's also an issue. My guest today has built a website, and we've partnered up, and I've helped build this website that eliminates all those issues. You have an easy form to fill out, and all you have to do is apply once. And I think that's amazing. I think that's awesome. You apply once, you get seen by multiple universities. No admin fees. And Canada, the place where I'm from, being able to study in Canada is a wonderful place to live. And Doc, and his name is Doctor, by the way, and we're going to get to that once I get him on. But his name is Doctor, and he is a brilliant man, and and very ambitious. He's a risk taker. He put this website together, and so I'm going to bring him in a few seconds. But he also was a student here in Canada. He went to the University of Calgary. He was a star football player for the University of Calgary's Dinos. So he and he's been in the newspaper. I mean, I've come across, before I met him, I came across what he's done in the past. So I mean, a lot of people know who he is, and I'm going to stop the rambling, and I'm going to get him on right now. So everyone, I want you guys to say hello to Mr. Doc Cassama. How are you doing?
Hi, Ryan. I'm doing well, thank you. Thanks for having me on the show.
What did you think about the long-winded introduction?
Well, I was listening to you, and it's hard. It's not easy to always hear someone else talk about you, but you did a great job, so I appreciate that.
Well, thank you. I mean, not only are you, like, I'm not bringing you on because you're my client. I'm bringing you on because you are, a phenomenal man. You're a phenomenal person that has built a great website that's going to pretty much revolutionize the way that people do, way that people apply in Canada for universities. So, are you aware of how, what you're doing here?
Well, it's been a long process, Ryan. I'm very thankful for having this opportunity. I think I've been blessed with this idea, but most importantly, the people that are supporting this idea, that are partnered with this business, I think that speaks more volume than the idea itself. And so I'm very excited for what this can do for students, but also for the country of Canada.
So now, speaking of education, let's talk about Education Solutions Canada. So this is a revolutionary website. I believe the first in Canada to recruit students from all over the world, including Canada. Recruit students, or I don't know if it's a recruiting website, but more so it's a place where students can go fill out an application and be seen by multiple people. So can you expound upon that and let everyone know about your company?
Yeah, Education Solutions Canada started, as I said, knowing how great Canada treated me. And so I want to give that same opportunity to kids around the world, as well as Canadian kids. So we believe that we have a solution to some of the ways education works in Canada. And so what it is a platform that we've built that any student, whether Canadian or international, can apply from anywhere in the world, and they create a profile, and then we give access to universities and colleges to view your profile. So we kept, the biggest thing is we want to keep the student in mind. And we want to create a win-win situation for the student as well as the university institutions. For the student, we're saying, hey, instead of you applying to 10 or 20 different, 10 or 5 different universities and paying multiple application fees, the students are a big asset to the universities. So I believe that the students should apply for free. And then we give access to multiple universities to look at the student profile, which gives the student a much higher chance of getting accepted, right? So and of course, Canada is the best country to live in and to get your education, and so that's why we started this thing.
And it's not just you. I mean, you run a corporation, and so you have other teammates that have helped you build this initiative.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about them?
Right. I say, to me, Education Solutions Canada, the people that are involved in it, the 3 directors, myself, Barbara Cox and Sandra Wigg, that speaks more volume to me than anything else. I like to brag about my team. There's a lot more people involved, but when I created this thing, I knew that in order to be successful in any venture, you need a really strong team. So we have a really diverse team of myself and our vice president, who's Barbara Cox, who's very experienced in the business world and comes from a different background than me. And then we have a Sandra Wigg, who's worked with these universities for years and years, and so she understands the struggles that national students as well as international students go through. So we have a team of diverse backgrounds, but together we make a very strong team.
Right, and so and then upon building the website, before you built the website, what was going in your mind, and did you think that you were going to be able to achieve what you've built now?
Well, one thing I've learned is you take an idea from your head and you try to implement it. One thing I've learned, it's a lot more work than you expected, and building this website has been a tremendous experience, and I feel like we overachieved our goals in terms of building the website, and thanks to you and what you've done, Ryan. But we're very happy with the product, and we're constantly going to have to improve this because we're dealing with students, and we are putting the students first. We want to make this thing as user friendly as possible for the students, because a lot of students, the feedback we've got is that, going on to these different university sites and trying to apply for an application, it's very hard, and it's very time consuming, and it's very, how do you explain it? It's not an easy thing to grasp right away, right? So what we've done is we've built an easier way for any student to apply from anywhere in the world and be seen by multiple schools. So two things: we want to save the student time and money. Those are the two things we kept in mind when we built this website. We're saying to the student, hey, we want to save you time, which is the most important thing you can have is time. And secondly, we want to save you money, which is what we have achieved so far.
That's amazing. That's awesome. So now I have 4 questions to ask you in pertaining to this website.
Okay.
First thing is scholarships. I mean, when it comes to students abroad, a lot of them are looking for scholarships. Do you provide scholarships at all?
Correct. We do provide a scholarship. Right now, we have an opportunity for students to win an Education Solutions Canada scholarship that we're giving out as a company to a student that is coming to Canada and starting their studies. And that's one thing we're going to increase to do as a company. Every year, we're going to give out more scholarships and help more students get educated. And as well as we do direct students to a lot of governmental scholarships that students are not aware of. I mean, there's so much scholarships available in Canada in terms of what the government can offer, but students are not aware, so they don't apply. So what we want to do is help them become aware and apply for some of those.
That's awesome. I think that's a great thing, because I mean, every little bit counts, especially when you want to travel overseas, and
right.
Every little bit can count, because I mean, like, you got grandma, you got your aunties and uncles, everyone has high hopes for you. And,
for sure.
They want to see you do well, so people are, mortgaging their houses, they're doing whatever they can so that their children can get a better education. So I think that the fact that you guys are offering a scholarship, I think that's amazing. Now, speaking of the scholarships, the cost of studying in Canada, what would the cost be for a student?
Well, the costs right now are in favor compared to a lot of countries. Coming to Canada, you're looking at about, depending on what program you study, but you look as an international student, you're looking at about between $12,000 to $30,000 in tuition, right? On a yearly basis, and then you're looking at about $10,000 for living expenses, right? That's an international student, but a Canadian student, you're paying about $5,000 to $6,000 for tuition a year, and then you're paying a $10,000 in living expenses.
Wow. When it comes to so with all those expenses, how are people paying for it? So can students come in, study, and work at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, it's not, like I said, the biggest countries right now for studying abroad in the past has been US, Australia, and UK. And keep in mind, the prices that I just told you are a lot more in those countries than Canada right now. And so Canada has the best prices in terms, for international students. And but still, I mean, it is a big investment for any student, right? But so you have to be financially viable to study in Canada, as well as you have to have the drive. But yes, you can work while you study. I did some working while I was in university, and that way you can pay for yourself as well.
Right. Now, what makes you eligible to study in Canada? Like, what are the universities asking for a lot of these students?
For a lot of these students, it's if you're coming internationally, you of course you need to they look at your transcript, so you need to be able to speak English or French, right? So you need to have proof of English requirements, right? Depending on what country you come from, and then they look at the rest of your transcripts, and then they look at if you're financially able to pay for school in Canada. So if you have those two things together, I think you can get accepted. And for national students, for Canadian students, they look at your transcripts and see what kind of student you are, and they accept you based on that.
Awesome.